my dear chartered accountant. I am Professor Jigar Joshi, would like to welcome you all in JK Shah classes. Today chartered, we are going to discuss about the revision test paper, especially people for May 22. Now chartered, first question that comes in your mind before we start with the people solving the RTPs. Sir, is it necessary to solve revision test paper? Then chartered answer is affirmative. Because if you look towards a few past papers, you will find it out generally the question number 5, which may come sometime for 6 marks or 8 marks, they ask from the RTP only. Example, like in May 2018, they had asked the question about the online e-commerce business process, and the same question was there in the question paper for 8 marks. So I request to all my dear chartered accountant that please, before you enter in your examination hall to write the paper of EIS and SM, please go through with this RTP. So let's begin people with RTP now. So my dear chartereds, this is the RTP which Institute has introduced recently, okay. Now, the very interesting question, it's like, sir, we have the first question as a multiple choice question, which comes for 15 marks, sir. Sir, they generally asked us about the case study based question. Sir, how to go for it? So remember my dear chartered, if your all concepts are cleared, mind you, once again I am repeating, if your all concepts are clear people, MCQs will become very easy for you. Because first they give the one case study based on which they ask the question, which is purely based on your understanding of the concept. Am I very clear to you? So it's not like a people 9th or 10th standard where we used to ratify sometime fill in the blanks and kind of, and we used to answer it. Here your all concept plays a very important role. So let's begin people understanding the first very important one case study which they had given, based on which we are going to solve multiple choice questions. Now people, when you are reading this case study, make sure that people, every paragraph will have the one subject or one topic covering the any single chapter. So please keep in your mind that all the chapters are equally important. Now let's begin chartered. See this. The Printage Limited is the printing press that deals with the printing of the notepads and calendars and supplying it to various schools, vendors and offices. Good, so nice. With the aim of expansion of their business and to enter into competitive market with the variety of high designed product, they purchased several state-of-art printing equipment in the year 2019, approximately, which cost them 5 lakhs rupees. The distinguished feature of this printing equipment, if used optimally, it means what? Sir, optimum use of resources. If it is used with a full capacity, it enables the user to prepare and customize the design as per the customer's choice on various daily use of products like mugs, t-shirts, pillows, etc. Okay, generally we gift nowadays, personalized gift kind of. However, due to lack of proper training, so we know very well chartered that human resource management, it's not good over here. It covers the chapter number 1 also, chapter number 2 also. They had introduced the machinery that's automating the business process. So chapter number 1 concept is also covered over here. Further, the employees in the factory of the company were not able to operate the equipment properly, thereby causing the delay in supply of the product. Number 1 problem. Against the order placed by the customer. Few instances, there are the few examples also where there are people where, you know, customers return the product due to defect in the designing or misprinting, or even sometime due to delay in delivery of their order. Now, the second concept, the company being aware about the people enormous benefit of the e-commerce environment. So here they are concerning now about chapter number 4, e-commerce, m-commerce and emerging technologies. Further, has its own online platform where the customers can place their orders. To place the order for their customized product people, the new customers are required to fill an online registration form. Okay, good. That captures the payment related information like account details, credit card details, etc. and upload the design and photograph of their choice at the time placing the order. So whatever the database we are collecting of customers chartered, that is required to be stored in a completely protective manner. Further chartered, it is also covering CRM, customer relationship management, that we are keeping the data with us only. But this is financial data. And we know people that all the financial data, it is clubbed under what? Sir, section 43A, sensitive personal data information. And if we are failed to protect it, we need to pay the penalty. Agree? So good number of concepts are clear in your mind, and I hope people you had already revised all the chapters. Okay? Yes. Though the Printage Limited has made the huge capital investment in the new equipment, however, there was a regular fall in sales people and market share due to unsatisfied customers. Okay. On management's request, an expert people, okay, Mr. Amit was assigned to assess the reasons for steady fall in sales, market shares, and furthermore to suggest the improvement for the overall business process. It like people you are taking the expert advice from someone, okay, so that you can get back to the normal position further. To increase the productivity also and the quality of the end product, he prepared the people pictorial, okay, representation. It means what pictorial? It's purely charted. You can say that the one type of presentation they had prepared with the help of some images, or you can take some symbols and kind of. So we know people, it's all about, they are talking about flowcharts and data flow diagrams. Oh yes sir. Representation of operations and the processing of these equipments to understand their working. After completion of his assignment, he suggested following things charted. To enhance the output, reduce the cost and generate the positive return on investment, that is ROI must be positive, we need to reduce the cost. Okay. He suggested the management to begin the regular periodic training sessions. Regular training has to be conducted in order to make our employees more and more and more knowledgeable people. It is very important. As I always say people, during my regular class also I always used to say that, boss, guided missiles, trained employees is equals to guided missiles. Understood? So it is very important chartered to train our employees for the best outcome. Further, for its employees to operate and handle the equipment effectively and use them optimally. Further, he recommended to have the people dedicated inspection officer. Okay, good. For regular review of the products before packing and delivery of the product to the customer against the present process of clearing the products by production in charge itself for packaging and delivery. So he suggested people that one more person must be appointed who is going to look after all the product and services before they are dispatched. So they want to make the quality assurance also over here. Understood? Sir, good number of concepts they had covered. So let's try to understand now people what kind of questions they are asking. Okay? Yes. So this started, only 5 MCQs are there. So please concentrate very carefully. Okay? In purview of the case scenario, the new customers are required to fill an online form. Yes, that will capture the information of their credit card for payments at the time placing any order. Whereas the details like credit card gets pre-filled for the already registered customer. So suppose if you had already entered the details of credit card earlier, now again you are placing the order, you just need to enter the CVV number, that is a card verification value number, that's it. Okay? Yes sir. From which category the data of the financial accounting system does pre-filled data for registered customers to fetch in the online form. Now it's very simple people, like suppose, say for example Mr. A is there who had already purchased something earlier from them and made the payment through credit card. So they had already created what? So customer database. Now people, whenever he is login again and if he is placing the order for the next time, automatically that credit card details appears in front of screen. So obviously chartered, this entire credit card details have been maintained under which format? Sir, master data. Correct chartered. Why chartered it's a master data? Because sir, master data is a permanent data, not expected to change again and again. It is a relatively permanent chartered. Agree? Yes sir. Number 2 chartered. Mr. Amit used flowchart for diagrammatic presentation to describe the various business processes and operations. Now whenever they are saying people flowchart, obviously immediately the concept of flowchart should strike in your mind. Correct charters? Yes sir. Identify the flowchart symbols used by him to represent the internal storage. Now chartered, if you do remember that all the symbols very clearly, you can definitely identify that this is the pure symbol which we use for what? Internal storage. If the database is already predefined chartered in the flowchart concepts, then we used to represent it by using this kind of symbols which represents what? So internal storage. Correct chartered? Yes sir. As well as people the others, I hope you remember people like Obviously this is used for decision box, this is generally the process box, and people, this is used purely for the predefined processes. Okay, yes sir, it's a predefined process. Okay sir, now we remember all this four. Correct, Chartered. Next question. In purview of the above case scenario, the customers may pay for his or her order using the credit card. Okay, we know very well. The following are the controls applied by credit card issuing authority. That is, credit card issuing authority, maybe people, card association or card issuing bank, both would be considered over here. Okay, except one. It means all the controls are there, but the one control does not matches over here. We need to identify which control does not matches over here. Choose the odd statement regarding the credit card. Now the first one, batch processing of the reconciliation for the balances received from the credit card network with the transaction updated in the credit card system or the card network level. Okay, batch processing, transaction will be bunched together and then it will be processed, Chartered. Second, interest on fund based credit card is automatically calculated in the credit card system. This is obviously we want, Chartered, because we want that credit card calculation of the interest must be done automatically, in no manual system is needed, because generally we had seen manual calculation may leads to what, sir? Miscalculations. Agree? Yes sir, or the wrong calculations we can say. Access rights to authorize the credit limit should be restricted to authorized personals. We know very well, Chartered, CRM, credit and risk management team, is going to determine how much credit should be given to you. That's correct, sir. No transaction can happen if the aggregate limit of the outstanding amount exceeds the assigned credit limit. Sir, this is also very clear, sir, because if my credit card limit, Chartered, suppose it is a 2 lakhs rupees, correct? Yes, I had already used people 1,80,000 rupees. Agree? Yes sir. And now people, if I would like to go for the transaction which is of 30,000, tell me, will it be approved or it will be declined? Sir, definitely it will be declined, because if this is approved, then your aggregate limit which is assigned to you of 2 lakhs will be automatically, sir, gets cancelled and it will become 2,10,000. Agree? So exceeding the credit limit, transactions can't be processed. So we are very much cleared. A is the odd man out over here. Why? Because sir, it is not a batch processing, it's a real-time processing. Understood? Yes sir. Immediately transactions gets verified, people, and set into the system immediately. Understood? Not in the batch. Okay sir. Now number 4, the Printage Limited, people, very interesting one, has own online platform to promote and avail the benefits of e-commerce transactions. However, many risks are also associated with the online businesses. Okay, which of the following does not fall? You need to understand, you need to read the question twice, people. Okay, under the category of risk of online business, first one, denial of services. Sir, obviously it exists, sir. Okay, it's a type of risk that the business is facing. Like denial of services means what, Chartered? The person who is authorized to use it, we are not allowing that person to use that devices. Understood? Yes sir. Second one, Chartered, sir, problem of piracy. Obviously pirated versions of softwares and pirated movies, sir, major risk. Repudiation of contract, sir, cancellation of contracts can be done at any time in online business. Yes sir. Elimination of time delays. Chartered, elimination of time delays is the good side, not the bad side. Agree? Yes sir. So people, D will be the odd man out over here. Agree? Yes sir. Finally, Chartered, in purview of the above case scenario, a control is well implemented in the payment gateway of the Printage Limited that checks for the authorized limit of the credit card of any customers when she or he places any online order. So every time, Chartered, whenever the person is placing an order, it will check with the aggregate credit limit, it will check with the aggregate limit once again, every time, I have to say. Agree? So that type of control, it's not a preventive control. No, but sir, it's a detective control. Understood? Every time we try to detect people whether the things are going as per the requisite requirement or not. Now, Chartered, very interesting one. Even if we had not studied, or even if we had not completely gone through with the case study now, still you will be able to answer many questions over here. And all the questions were purely based on what? Sir, clear-cut understanding of the concept. Am I very clear to you, Chartered? Yes, sir. Now, Chartered, we are going to see theoretical or the descriptive questions. So please concentrate very carefully for this descriptive or the theoretical questions, what exactly they are saying. Question number 1 from chapter number 1, chartered automated business process. Yes, Mr. Rajesh and his team have been given the task to develop internal controls. Yes sir, chapter number 1 we remember the internal controls. Agree? Yes sir. Policies and procedures for ABC Limited to safeguard the company's assets and to ensure the reliability of internal and external financial reporting. Good. Obviously we know very clear chartered that controls are implemented in order to mitigate or minimize the impact of risk. Agree chartered? Yes sir. Elaborate the component of internal controls. Chartered, how many components are there? Sir, 5 components are there. We do remember those things. Agree? Yes. That Mr. Rajesh and his team must take care people to make the information system or the system more and more effective, chartered. Sir, what are those types of or components, sir, of internal control? Chartered, I hope everybody has revised this chapter very clearly. And when they ask about the people internal control, what do you mean by first of all internal control? Sir, internal control refers to internal check plus internal audit, where the work of a junior must be immediately required to be checked by the senior. That refers to internal check, chartered. Agree? And internal audit, sir, the person who is appointed as an auditor to look after the overall system. Am I very clear to you, chartered? Yes. So let's see, chartered, what are the components of internal control? Sir, number 1, very important one, we do remember, sir, it's all about the control environment. Yes or no, chartered? Yes sir. Now people, when I am saying control environment, what it represents? Sir, it represents the policy, procedures, practices adopted by the management. Generally, the controls to be set up, people, is the responsibility of, sir, board of directors and other personals at the top level. Agree, chartered? Yes sir. The way people they design the controls will 110% determine how effective controls we are having in our organization. Now people, in a very simple way, there is a need to have some standard, some proper practices chartered that must be adopted, which ensures that everything gets reported properly, all the policies, procedures and practices are properly adopted in the organization. Number 2, chartered. Yes sir. Now for number 2, people, we know very clearly that we should have the risk assessment team. What do you mean by the chartered risk assessment? Sir, risk assessment refers to very simple thing. It is a team, chartered, which determines all the future possible risk as well as their impact which may occur in the future. Agree, chartered? Yes sir. Identifying the risk, people, and understanding its impact will definitely help you to design the best controls, chartered. So it is very important, chartered, we should have a proper what? Sir, risk assessment team, risk assessment management system. Constantly and continuously, people, they are discussing about all the possible risk, okay, that may occur in the future. We will try to identify, people, what kind of impact they are going to create in the organization, and people, which risk management strategy we should apply to mitigate the impact of such risk. You know, people, you had already studied something called as a risk management strategies. You know, accepting the risk, or people tolerating or accepting the risk, correct? Okay. Second one, people, we are also having what? Sir, it's to transfer someone, mitigate or minimize the risk, eliminate the risk, and sometimes turn back, not to consider the risk at all. Agree? Yes sir. But for that, chartered, we need what? Sir, a very strong level of risk assessment in order to make our internal control more and more strong, chartered. Agree? Yes sir. So number 1, sir, control environment. Number 2, sir, risk assessment. Number 3, chartered, a very important one comes as control activities. Now people, when I am talking about the controlled activities, now we are generally discussing about the purely controls implemented in the organization at both the level. Sir, at both the level means what? Chartered, it covers ITGC, information technology general controls, the controls which is designed, people, in the organization, and it is applicable to all the levels of management, whether it is a lower level, middle level or top level management. And second one, chartered, it covers what? Sir, application controlled also. we need to make sure that our application must produce the exact and accurate result. Along with that, sir, some controls like role-based access control as well as segregation of duties cannot be avoided, chatted. Are you getting my point of view? So controlled activities basically covers how many areas? Sir, three important areas. Number one, it's ITGC, which is also called as infrastructure control chartered. That's the information technology general controls. Second, sir, obviously application level controls we need to design in order to make sure that our applications are accepting the proper input from the user, processing the data as per the predefined standards, and generating the output and delivering the output to the authorized user only. Agree? 110%, sir, we are completely agree with you. Number 4, my dear chartered, a very important one, without which we cannot expect chartered internal controls to be implemented in a perfect way, and that is what, sir, information and chartered communication. Chartered, try to understand, in order to minimize the impact of risk, now it is very important that we should have ongoing discussion about all these factors that affects the organization. Now, chartered, information plays a very important role, because without information we won't be able to take the decision. You know very well, chartered, on the basis of data we don't take the decision. We always take the decision on the basis of information. So when we don't have the correct data with us, we won't be able to reach to correct information. And if we do not have the correct information, we will never ever be able to take the proper action against the such people risk. Agree, chartered? Yes, sir. And for that, correct information about the risk is necessary. Second, chartered, is the communication. Try to understand, it's very important, chartered, that ongoing communication must be needed. If the organization's one department has faced any type of risk, people, it is very important that we should have the proper communication channels through which it will be discussed in the every department, so that the risk for the other departments could also be minimized. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. So communication is a very important control, chartered. It is also very important how we share this information, chartered. A proper controls must be used obviously while communicating also, but still, chartered, information and communication are the integral part of the best internal control, chartered. So internal controls consist of, number 1, sir, control environment. Number 2, sir, risk assessment. Number 3, sir, controlled activities. Number 4, sir, information and communication. Number 5, people, it's very important one, and that's called what, sir, monitoring of controls. See this, chartered, it is very important. Just a second. Monitoring of controls. See this, chartered, it is very important that we should constantly and continuously monitor whether the controls are effectively and efficiently implemented or not. Many organizations are failed over here only, chartered. They implement the controls. They think that they had designed means their work is over. No, sorry. You have to constantly and continuously, chartered, need to check whether all the controls are properly effectively implemented or not, and whether they are producing the requisite results or not. Designing the control, it's not only the people requirement. We need to see that the control must be implemented effectively at every level wherever they are properly designed for. So 5 most important components, people, without which we can say that our internal controls are nothing. Components of internal control. Internal control is consist of what? Internal control is consist of, number 1, controlled environment, that is board of directors, their psychology, the way they design the controls. Number 2, sir, risk assessment, identifying the risk, understanding its impact, and preparing risk mitigation strategy for the same. Number 3, sir, controlled activities covering the ITGC, application controls, as well as role-based access control and segregation of duties. Number 4, sir, information and communication. And 5th one, chartered, which is a very important, my dear chartered, monitoring of control. Constant and continuous monitoring of this control will definitely help you to, chartered, achieve best internal controls in your organization and to minimize the impact of risk. Am I very clear to you, charteds? Yes, sir. Now, people, generally students are also sometime, they are tensed. Sir, they ask case study based question. Here, Mr. Rajesh name is given, people, okay? And his team have been asked to develop the internal control policy and procedure. It's okay. The content is going to remain the same. Only they are going to, people, add the name of someone, okay, but the concepts are going to remain the same. So I would always say chartered not to worry about anything chartered. Okay, yes. And this RTP people, I would like to make sure one more important thing over here, that this RTP covers good number of amended questions also. So please chartered, let's continue and people watch this video till the end so that all the amendments also gets cleared in your mind. Okay, so this information technology, next question I charted. Yes sir, information technology has touched the every sector of the business and has been instrumental in accelerating their growth. Very good, superb. However, many crimes were also associated with the computers. Henceforth, Information Technology Act 2000 came into existence. We know people that people started misusing of the cyberspace, and thereby there was a need to introduce the proper law for the same. Explain few computer related offenses prescribed under IT Act 2000. Now chartered, see this, you need to understand this lines very carefully. They said what? Explain few computer related offenses. Now in your chapter they had covered the two most important aspect. Number one, computer related offenses covered under section 43, and second is computer related offenses. So chartered, if they had not given a proper section over there, that's a section 43 chartered, then please make sure that we are going to write it down the generalized or commonly IT people issues. Agree? Yes sir. Let's see chartered. Okay, now people, few computer related offenses. Okay, now what are the few computer related offenses? So number one, we know chartered, that's a purely we always considered. Okay, yes sir, I'll write it down over here people. Yes sir. Sir, it's a computer related crime. Okay, under IT Act. Correct chartered? Yes sir. IT Act of 2000 also, an amendment to 2008 also. Agree? Yes sir. Number one is chartered, very important one, and that's what sir, it's purely harassment via fake public profile on social networking sites. Nowadays you know people very well that n number of fake public profiles are created on the social media, including Facebook, Twitter also chartered, Instagram, full with the same. Okay, and if somebody people tries to harass you by creating the fake public profile people, then that will amount to purely computer related offenses under the IT Act. Understood? Yes sir. Second is chartered, we know credit card fraud. Yes or no? Yes sir, credit card frauds are there. Now people, when I'm talking about the credit card frauds, what it exactly means? N number of times people, they try to take over your credit card details from you. Generally people, they are going to make the fake purchases from your credit card. Agree? Yes sir. They try to people collect the credit card details and then they might be gonna misuse it chartered. Okay, maybe for any anti-social requirement also. So chartered, very important, we need to protect our credit card. Generally people, they are not targeting the individuals over here, because nowadays individuals are quite good with the knowledge that I do not require to share my debit card, credit card details with anyone. But on the other side chartered, generally nowadays they are targeting the organizations, because suppose if you and me visits to any pizza shop, okay, so we generally make the payment, so that pizza store, it's keeping my debit card, credit card details with them. They are targeting the network of them people so that they can collect the huge amount of data of credit card and debit cards. Agree? Yes sir. So number one, harassment via fake public profile on social networking sites. Second, sir, credit card fraud. Number three people, you can also say email frauds or email account hacking. You know people, in this 21st century we do not talk much, okay, with male or female, but obviously all business dealings done with the email. So email becomes a very important part of communication people in today's life. And if someone's email account got hacked, then there is a good amount of chances chartered that organization secret plans or organizations very confidential information could also be leaked into the market. So third people, the cybercrime which we can see under the IT Act, it's what's our email account hacking. Number fourth chartered, which is a very important one, okay, and that is the introduction of virus, worms, Trojan, etc. Now what do you mean by the virus? Sir, it's a one type of computer contaminant coding which is forcefully made entered, okay, in the someone else PC charted, and then PC start reacting very badly charted, and that's a virus. Basically it's a small amount of coding charted which does not allow the computer to function normally. Worms. What do you mean by the worms? Sir, worms does the replication of activities again and again. They are like just, say for example, once they are designed with creating the folders. So they will start creating folder in folder, folder in folder, folder in folder. So many folders will be created, charted, that existing memory, whatever we have, that will be eaten up by the worms. Third one is the Trojan, charted. Something which looks legitimate but inside it carries what? Sir, illegitimate purpose, and that's the people. Third thing, Trojan. Understood? Yes, sir. So number one, charted, sir, we are very much cleared. Harassment via fake public profile on social networking sites. Second, sir, credit card frauds. Number three, sir, we are having email account frauds or email account hacking. Fourth one, introduction of virus, worms, Trojans, charted. Yes, sir. Number fifth, people, is the online sale of charted illegal articles, or illegal, you can say that, people, equipments also, okay. Yes, sir. Now charted online sale of illegal articles refers to what? Generally, people, on many websites, many restrictive things you can find it out. There are the many instances, people, where the narcotics, drugs have been found, people, available online also. So charted, if somebody is selling anything, people, which is a completely ban in India, so that's a once again, people, if it is online platform is used, then it will amounts to what? Sir, cyber crime, or it's a computer related offenses under IT Act 2000 amendment to 2008. So once again, charted, number one, it's what? Sir, harassment via fake public profile on social networking sites. Credit card frauds is there, sir. Number three, sir, email account hacking. Number fourth, introduction of virus, worms, Trojans will be there. Sir, online sale of illegal article is also there. Sixth one, people, I'll cover the two main important points charted over here, and that's called phishing. I hope everybody is aware about it, charted. Yes, sir. Phishing and, people, email scam. Now, what do you mean by the charted phishing and email scam? Try to understand very clearly, charted. Okay. Phishing, it's like somebody, people, will give you the messages, or they will give you people email, okay, that you had won the lotteries and pricing amount is ready for you. Please, in order to claim, fill the following form or provide the further details to us. And people, they takes away some confidential information from you. Agree? Yes, sir. That's a phishing and email scam. Finally, charted, theft of, there is a very important, people, we all are trying to find it out the solution for this. Theft of confidential information. Agree? Yes, sir. Now it is started, we need to understand, that's a very simple thing, that in 21st century, the people fuel that runs the all industries, people, across the globe is data. And today, people, try to understand, people are not ready to do any kind of, people, physical theft, but they would like to do purely the data theft only. They would try to, people, make sure that some confidential information about the customers they must be able to acquire, chartered, and thereby chances of, people, data leakage has increased tremendously. So this all are the, people, what? Sir, they are the computer related offenses under the IT Act. Once again repeating, people, harassment via fake public profile on social networking sites, credit card frauds, email account hacking, chartered, introduction of the virus, worms, Trojans are there, online sale of illegal articles are there, phishing and email scam, which is very much popular nowadays, people, okay. Yes, and there is a theft of confidential information. Am I very clear to you, charteds? Yes, sir. So people, chapter number 1 from RTP comes to an end over here. Oh, that's great, sir. Yes. Now we are going to refer, chartered, second chapter. Say this. Second chapter, financial and accounting system. Question number 8. Say this. What exactly they are saying? Unlike non-integrated system in an organization where all the department works independent to each other and use their own set of data. We know very well, Chartered, that's a centralized system and decentralized system. Centralized system, it's called as integrated, and it's also known as a ERP softwares. Basically, they are maintaining the single centralized database system. All the department would be able to access that data on a real-time basis, my dear Chartered. Agree? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. The ERP system uses the single database and contains the data for various software modules. We know very well. Yes. Modules, department in an electronic form. Yes, sir. This distinct feature of ERP system enables them to provide n number of or numerous benefits people to an organization. Discuss these benefits. Now people, we are here to discuss what? Some benefits of ERP system. I hope, Chartered, you all do remember this. Yes, sir. It's a good question. Yes, sir. So let's try to understand, Chartered, over here. Just a minute. I'll do one thing. Okay. So, Chartered, we are here to discuss what? Sir, benefits of ERP system. Correct, Chartered? 110%, sir. Okay, Chartered. Listen to me very carefully. Before we continue with the ERP system, let's try to recall it, Chartered, okay? Yes, sir. Suppose, Chartered, if I have a production department, sales department, marketing department, HR department, finance department, logistic department, quality control department, supply chain department. Sir, you said the name of many. Could you please write it down also? Yes, Chartered. We are having people, production department, sales, marketing, HR, finance, logistic, quality controlled, supply chain management. Correct, Chartered? Yes, sir. And to these people we are managing what? Sir, we are managing purely to this, Chartered, we are managing purely, sir, centralized database system. Understood? Yes, sir. And that is the system, people, which is purely or popularly known as what? Sir, ERP. Agree, Chartered? Yes, sir. So all the departments in an organization are using what? Sir, single database. Am I very clear to you? Centralized database. Correct, Chartered. Say this. Benefits of ERP system. What are the benefits? Sir, number one, it helps us for first thing, that's a information integration. Yes or no, Chartered? Yes, sir. All the departments are people managing what? Sir, database, but in a centralized way. So whatever the people database gets updated from the one department, automatically that data will be available to the another department, obviously with the restrictive called as RBAC, role based access control. We will enable them to exactly visualize the data from the other departments also, but it enables you to what? Sir, to manage the entire database at the central level, and that is enabling us to enjoy information integration. Understood, Chartered? Yes, sir. Number two benefit, Chartered, of ERP system is what? Sir, we remember reduction in lead time. Now, Chartered, what do you mean by the lead time? Sir, lead time, it's nothing but it is a time gap between placing the order and receiving it. So, Chartered, if I am a businessman, I need raw material. Yes, sir. Or if I am doing a trading business, do I require the people inventory with me? Yes, sir. Today, suppose I place the order with a vendor, Mr. A. Okay. And he delivers me goods after 3 days, Chartered. So the time gap taken, that 3 days, will be called it as what? Sir, lead time. But if we have the ERP system, obviously all the transactions gets processed automatically. We are supported with what? Sir, electronic data interchange system. We are also supported with what? Sir, electronic fund transfer system, where the payments could be done in few minutes. Understood? And that enables us to enjoy what? Sir, right time, right goods must be available to us. Reduces what? Sir, lead time. No need to put a lot of investment in the inventory, sir. Agree? 100%. Number 3, Chartered, we are also enjoying what? Sir, reduction in cycle time. Now, sir, what do you mean by the reduction in cycle time? So, Chartered, try to understand. Mr. B is there who had placed the order with me. So, for me, Mr. B is a customer. Understood? Yes. Today, he placed the order, Chartered, and within a 3 days or 4 days, I would be able to deliver the ultimate goods to Mr. B. So the time gap between receiving the order and people making the delivery to Mr. B will be considered as what? Sir, cycle time. But under the ERP system chartered, we know all the departments are completely automated in the functioning, the way they transfers the data. And that enables you to do what? Sir, to complete the transactions very quickly, and that reduces what? Cycle time. So in order to make it this concept very easy, sir, lead time, it's purely related to vendor, and you can say that it's already people we had discussed as related to purchase, correct? Yes, sir. And it is related to, sir, cycle time, sir, customer, and related with what? Sir, purely sales. Do you agree with me? Yes, sir. So number 1, sir, it's an information integration. Number 2, sir, it's a reduction in lead time. Number 3, sir, reduction in cycle time. Agree, chartered? Yes, sir. Number 4th benefit, chartered, which we enjoy under the ERP system is like people on-time shipment. Now what do you mean by chartered on-time shipment? Sir, say this. All the departments are working in a integrated way. Correct, chartered? Yes. Suppose Mr. B today placed the order. Correct? Immediately it will check with my inventory whether the goods are available or not. Answer is yes, bro. Goods available. Okay. From exactly my go down, I'll try to identify the location of Mr. B who had already placed the order with me. That the distance, and by the people ERP system with their all integrated system, it will be by doing all the calculations, okay, based on the certain predefined algorithms. It will calculate that within 2 days or within 3 days I would be able to reach to the customer. Understood? So that is why people, we are maximum time when you purchase the product over the Amazon or on online platforms, they give you the fixed date of delivery. Now we are sometimes confused, bro, how could they make so good calculations? Chartered, it is purely based on the ERP system algorithms which identify the nearest location from where these goods will be dispatched to you, and the time gap between people dispatch and delivery. Agree? Yes, sir. Now people, in ERP system we are having what? Sir, all the departments are working in an integrated way. There is no need to make a phone calls or sending the emails for the confirmations. Agree, chartered? Yes, sir. So suppose Mr. B today placed the order with me. It will be immediately checked with my inventory. If it is available, I'll make the arrangements of delivery immediately. Based on the calculation, I'll indicate the delivery date to Mr. B. If it is not available right now in the inventory, automatically this diskets will be copied to whom? Sir, to production department. Production department will try to identify people the best way to produce that product, and ultimate date will be given by which they will be ready with the production. Based on which again the calculation will be done, and I'll give the proper date to Mr. B. Okay, that ensures what? Sir, on time proper shipment. So number 1, sir, it's an information integration. Number 2, sir, reduction in lead time. Number 3, sir, reduction in cycle time. Number 4, sir, it's a on time shipments will be done. Agree? Yes, sir. Number 5th, chartered, a very important one, increases customer satisfaction. Now people, how it increases the customer satisfaction? Because if we try to understand, chartered, web based, I am writing very clearly, chartered, if it is a web based ERP system now, then believe me, chartered, customer can place the order online. Yes, sir. He can collect the information first of all about the product online. Yes, sir. Based on which he can place the order online. Yes, sir. He can immediately make the payments online sitting at home. Yes, sir. He can also track the delivery. Yes, sir. And that makes the customer very, very, very happy, because everything is available on the just few clicks, chartered. And all this is possible only because of one thing, and that's, once again I'm saying, people, it's an integrated environment in which my organization is currently operating. So number 1, sir, it's an information integration. Number 2, sir, reduction in lead time. Number 3, sir, reduction in cycle time. Number 4, sir, it's an on-time shipment. Number 5, sir, increases customer satisfaction. Correct, chartered? Yes, sir. Number 6, chartered, very, very interesting one, people. Okay, it improves decision making. Improves decision making. Try to understand, people, that whenever you want to take a decision now, obviously, as we had discussed, people, few minutes ago only, in order to take any decision, the first and foremost thing you need, it's the information. ERP system, by virtue of its integrated environment, people, always gives you real-time accurate information, people, which helps every managers to take, sir, proper decisions. Agree, chartered? And quick decision, people, is nothing but it's all about what? Sir, quick decision enables us to enjoy the highest success. Am I very clear to all my dear charteds? Sir, definitely 110%. Last point, people, which I would like to also cover over here. Okay, it enhance or it increases the flexibility. Increases flexibility. Now, chartered, ERP system, it's purely what? Sir, integrated. So if you make the changes at the one place, chartered, automatically it enables you to change the requisite places without any extra human interference. No need to make the changes everywhere, chartered. Make the changes at the one place and automatically it will capture the changes at every other places. Let's take the example for this, people. Okay, I'll take the example of, people, over here, the very common accounting software which we use called as Tally. Suppose, people, I had made a sales to Mr. B, okay, and people, I had actually calculated the amount with a 500 rupees. I had prepared the bill, okay. Yes, ultimately, chartered, I come to know, boss, to Mr. B, I always used to give the discount of 10%. So the 50 rupees amount I have to reduce, not 500, but at 450 I need to make a sales. Chartered, if it is entire manual books of accounts are there, then the journal entries are passed, ledger posting is done, you know, people, and to now make the changes, it's very much difficult. But under the ERP system, you just need to go to that journal entry where you had made the sales entry, people, make the changes amount over there, and automatically it gets reflected in the balance sheet also. Why? Because, sir, ERP system, it's completely and purely integrated. Am I very clear to all my dear charters? I hope, people, this question explanation automatically enables you to remember the entire concepts of that chapter also. Yes? Yes, sir. Let's continue, people, with the next question now. Oh, that's great. Now we are going to refer the Xbrl, chartered. Xbrl, it's an extensible business reporting language. Yes, yeah, no, chartered? Sir, 110%. Okay, it's a freely available and global standards for digital business reporting. Discuss key features of Xbrl. Now, very important, they are saying what? Sir, they are asking us to discuss the features of Xbrl. Chartered, we know very well that Xbrl is present in more than 50 countries. Yes, yeah, no? Yes. Every year, millions and millions of documents are created in a digital form, which enables you to enjoy, okay, one major benefit, chartered, that these reports can be converted into any language of your choice. Agree? Yes, sir. So, chartered, let us try to identify the benefits of Xbrl also. Okay. Yes, sir. So, I'll give the heading, people, over here. Sir, it's a benefits of Xbrl, extensible business reporting language. An amazing system, chartered, which enables you to enjoy the global standard for your reports to be prepared. So what are the, people, very interesting benefits of Xbrls are there? Number one, chartered, it provides clear definition. Understood? Yes, sir. Whatever the terms, chartered, you are defining in your reports, that can be clearly chartered. You can also provide the third party authoritative definitions also, enabling you, people, to not only give the proper reports but also to explain the reports also. Now, chartered, very interesting thing comes, people, over here, like Xbrl is the global level software. Correct, chartered? Yes, sir. It allows, people, even the third party to add the definition, and that will represent the meaning whenever that word appears in the report. So that's a great thing. Number two, chartered, we are also having called as a testable business rules. Now, very important one, people. Sir, testable business rules refers to what? Chartered, see this. Everything you don't want to report. Correct? Yes, sir. You want to report the information, people, which is according to you perfect and as per the legal requirement which is needed. Xbrl, people, purely allows the user to, select the information which they want to report. And by this mean, people, it can easily help us to stop sharing the poor quality information with the outsiders. So chartered, testable business rules clearly defines chartered. Some mathematical or logical rules could also be applied over here in order to make our reporting more and more accurate chartered, more and more reliable chartered. The third one, very interesting benefit chartered, which we enjoy, it's what? Sir, multiple languages. Agree? Yes, sir. Multiple language benefit. Now chartered, multiple languages refers to what? As sir you had already explained, that Xbrl is designed for this purpose only, that we can convert the reports people into as many as languages supported by Xbrl. Understood? Yes sir. So people, there is a no language barrier exists now when it comes to business reporting under the Xbrl. And last but not the least chartered, the fourth one, very important one, and that's what? Sir, strong software support. Agree? Yes sir. Generally chartered, for Xbrl we do not require any specific accounting softwares to be used. It is supported with the all generally major accounting softwares available around the globe. So four major benefits chartered that we enjoyed under the Xbrl system is what? Sir, number one, we are enjoying the clear definition. Number two, sir, it allows us to what to report and what not to report, sir. Testable business rules are there. We can create the ratios, we can create the, sir, ultimate reports in the manner as we want. Okay. Third one, sir, multiple lingual supports are there. Multiple languages can be there, and that enables us to create the report, okay, in as many as languages we feel necessary. Finally chartered, it provides what? Such strong software capability that with the any accounting software people, we can easily make our Xbrl softwares work. Agree chartered? Yes sir. So my dear chartered, after clearing chapter number 2, we'll move towards the next chapter. Chapter number 3 chartered. Please concentrate. Oh sir, we had already reached to third chapter now. Yes chartered. Chapter number 3, information system and its component. Before we pursue people to the next concept, let me tell you something. For May 22 chartered, Institute has given few amendments, but these amendments are restricted only to the chapter number 3, chapter number 4 and chapter number 5. Chapter number 1 and chapter number 2 as such has no amendment at all. Agree? Yes sir. So let us continue people over here in chapter number 3 now. Don't worry about it, amendments are already covered, okay? Yes sir. Say this. Information system controls affects the working environment of an organization and are classified based on the various factors like objectives of control. Chartered, you know very well that in chapter number 3 we had referred the controls, correct? On the basis of objective, on the basis of IS resources and on the basis of IS functions, correct? Yes sir. Controls the physical, logical, security of resources, etc. people. Yes sir. Describe the category of IS controls based on their objectives with example. Now people, they are very much clear that they are asking us what? Sir, controlled on the basis of objectives. Agree? Yes sir. Sir, objective based controls are also called as, sir, they are also called as time based controlled. They are called as what chartered? Tell me please. Sir, time based controlled. Agree chartered? Yes sir. Now people, whenever this type of concept comes now, please do remember, we are going to discuss 3 major types of controls over here. On the basis of chartered what? Sir, objective controls are classified into 3 parts, correct? Yes sir. Number 1 is a preventive control. Okay sir. Number 2, sir, detective control. Okay sir. And number 3, my dear chartered, we are also having what? Sir, corrective controls. Now, sir, please tell us what is the difference between preventive, detective and corrective. But chartered, first of all, in order to simplification, you should always remember that controls on the basis of objectives are called as a PDC. Preventive, detective, corrective. Agree? Yes sir. Now chartered, every organization generally prefers to have what? Sir, they generally prefers to have the ERM team with them. Okay, enterprise risk management team. Their main job is what? Sir, is to constantly and continuously evaluate all the future risk assess the future risk, identifying its impact, and to prepare the proper strategy to minimize the impact of such risk. Agree? Yes, sir. And that's purely, people, all those things which we come to know with the help of our ERM team that may gonna affect to my organization, for which whatever controls I'm going to implement, it's called as preventive controls. So preventive controls are controls, people, which is pre-decided and pre-defined before the occurrence of any accident itself. Am I very clear to you, charters? Yes, sir. Now preventive controls, chartered, try to understand about it, people. Something that I'm going to design in advance. It means, chartered, 110% this information came to me with my past experience maybe, or chartered by looking towards a future scenario that certain future risk may impact to my organization, and thereby I am preparing myself for what, sir, to implement the preventive controls. Examples, chartered, okay, putting the handheld fire extinguishers in your office, it's a preventive control. Introducing and people, making sure that your all smoke detectors are working perfectly, it's what, sir, it's a preventive control. Giving your employees, chartered, a complete and well proper defined training, chartered, sir, it's a preventive control. So preventive control includes all those controls, chartered, which help us to prevent an organization from the multiple types of risks that may occur in the future. Okay, but it covers what, sir, selective type of risk. But obviously, chartered, there are many risks which are risk is itself uncertain thing. Yes or no? Yes, sir. So chartered, many times our existing control do not work and the particular risk may strike to the organization or strike on the organization, I mean to say. At that time, chartered, it is very, very, very important to implement what, sir, detective controls. So detective controls, chartered, are implemented in order to identify the loopholes into the system because of what or because of which the particular risk strike. Example, chartered, we are using the bank reconciliation statements. Yes, sir. Also, people, just in the previous MCQ we had seen regularly checking the people credit limit of the customer. It's a what? It's a detective control. Agree? Yes, sir. You are having, people, CCTV camera, which is also called as closed circuit television, full form of CCTV. That's what, sir, it's a part of detective control. So with the help of chartered implementing the detective control, we would try to identify the two things. First of all, what type of risk it was and what type of failure, okay, from our side in order to prevent for such risk. Now, people, obviously everybody learns from mistake. So we come to know with the detective control that where we were lacking, and exactly, people, making those area very, very, very comfort that next time the reoccurrence of the same type of event could be prevented, for which the control which we apply, it's called as corrective. So first we try to prevent. If we could not prevent and the risk strike, we are going to apply the detective. Once we detected whatever the major loopholes into our system, we would try to make sure that we are taking appropriate corrective actions to correct those areas. Am I very clear to all my dear chartered accountants? Answer is yes, sir. So chartered, this is a preventive control, detective control and corrective control, the part of overall controls on the basis of objectives. Correct, chartered? Yes, sir. Moving to the chartered, a next very, very, very interesting concept. I'm damn sure, people, the next question will be your favorite one because it's an amended question. Okay. Yes. Say this. In an organization, the database controls are used within an application software to maintain the integrity of the data. We know, chartered, very clearly. Okay. Yes, we have to maintain what, sir, database controls within the application, because applications generally have what, sir, first boundary control, then input control, then processing, then output, then database, and finally communication control. 6 controls are there. Data and prevent any data integrity violations. Discuss, chartered, various controls under the database controls to achieve this objective. Now try to understand one thing, chartered. This question has been introduced with few amendments. Earlier they had kept the database control, but it was a very small amount of explanation they had given that by appointing only one senior trustworthy database management or database administrator person, we can manage the data integrity. But that's not the case, Chartered. So in data integrity, Chartered, whatever the concepts are there, I'm going to discuss with you those concepts. So please keep your eyes open. Listen to me very carefully, Chartered, regarding this. Okay? Yes. Now, we are going to discuss about what? Sir, database controlled. Okay, sir. Ready, Chartered? Yes, sir. So it's time for a Chartered database control. Chartered, try to understand. Once again, I am repeating, people. We all know one thing very clearly, that database is the most important what? Sir, asset for every organization, Chartered. And maintaining the integrity of this database, na, Chartered, it's a one of the very important activity and crucial activity, you can say that, Chartered, which will be assigned only and only to the senior and trustworthy person. But apart from this, Chartered, in order to manage our database management system into very perfect manner, certain controls we really needs to design and implement in a very perfect way. Let's try to, people, figure it out. What are those controls? Okay? Yes, sir. Number one, Chartered, we strongly say access controlled. Try to understand, Chartered, we should not allow any Tom, Dick, Harry to access our database. We should make sure that, people, that the access should be assigned only and only to whom, Chartered? Sir, to the authorized person who is authorized to see or modify that data. Chartered, when the access control mechanism is implemented, now, for that we required a strong level of policy procedure at its place. Understood? Yes, sir. Make sure that, Chartered, the access controls must be designed in a very perfect way, that there should not be, Chartered, leakage of data, or there should not be a, people, one person may access, people, data, something for which he is completely unauthorized to access. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. Come on. Second one, Chartered, it's what? Sir, data integrity. It's very important one. So, Chartered, second one is a integrity controlled. Now, what do you mean by, Chartered, integrity controls? Sir, whenever the database is created or updated, what I said, Chartered, updated or created, we need to make sure that, Chartered, only correct input must be received. Even if it is modified or if it is updated, Chartered, we should ensure that the new data which we are capturing from the user must match with the existing data sets. Try to identify. First, I had asked the mobile number from you. Okay, we had made the best input controls that mobile number cannot be less than 10 digits, correct? Yes, sir. But when I am allowing you to modify your mobile number, Chartered, I need to make sure that the integrity of that database must be maintained. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. Further, number 3, Chartered, it's a very important one, Chartered, called as concurrency controls. Concurrency controls. Now, people, concurrency controls refers to very simple thing. All the database must get updated on a what? Sir, real-time basis. It's like, suppose if some changes are made into the database, Chartered, it gets immediately reflected, Chartered. Am I very clear to you? In the earlier objectives only we had seen, people, no batch processing for database management system. In order to manage the database on a perfect and precise manner, Chartered, we should always make sure that concurrency control must exist. We should make sure that my database gets updated as and when any changes are made into the existing database. Agree? Example, Chartered, your bank balance is there. Yes, sir, we have a good balance. Okay, obviously you are Chartered people, you know. So whenever you withdraw from the ATM, what happens? Sir, before the machine dispatch the cash now, we received the message on our screen that you had successfully withdrawn so and so amount. Say for example 10,000 rupees. So database is maintained over here on what basis? Sir, purely on the real-time basis. Any changes at the one place, Chartered, automatically it is going to make the changes at the all other existing places. And that's called what, Chartered? Sir, concurrency or concurrent controls. Agree? Yes, sir. Number 4th is very interesting one, Chartered, and it's my favorite, people, and that's called as, people, purely making the data very much safe and secured, and that could be possible with the help of what? Sir, cryptographic control. So people, we are going to write it down. Sir, cryptographic controls. That is converting, Chartered, data into encrypted form. What is, Chartered, encryption? Sir, encryption refers to very simple, converting my normal text normal text into cipher text. Cipher text means what? A coded language, people. Yes, sir. And that's called what? Sir, cryptographic controls. So we required chartered first of all, sir, access control has to be defined very carefully. Only authorized person should be allowed to access the database. Integrity control must be maintained whenever we want to update the data or whenever we want to create the data. We should make sure that integrity should not be chartered affected. Agree? Yes, sir. Integrity controls could also be, people, I can define it in a very another way, like there has to be some reasonableness verification must be done. Like in the column of amount, there has to be only and only numericals allowed, not alphanumerical should be allowed. Understood? Yes, sir. Concurrency controls, that's a real-time database management must be maintained, chartered. Cryptographic controls must be implemented in order to enjoy what? Sir, data encryption system. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. Number 5, chartered, once again, if I would like to take the example, I can take the example of something we can call it as a chartered audit trail controls. Understood? Yes, sir. Now, whenever I'm saying, people, audit trail system, it refers to what? Sir, audit trail controls refers to, we need to identify accounting audit trail, yes or no, and operation audit trail. We had already referred this. I'll write it down, people. Accounting audit trail and operation audit trail. Number of event, people, that had occurred while entering the database, that's accounting audit trail, and people, the resources which we had used to enter that database, people, comes under the operation audit trail. Correct, chartered? Yes, sir. Number 6, people, last one I'll get to cover over here, and that's called, people, file handling controls. See this, chartered, it is very important that these files must be kept completely secure, chartered. Okay? Yes, sir. This file should not fall into the hand of, people, any unauthorized person. Otherwise, we are completely failed in managing our database in a integrated, secured way. So, chartered, file updating controls or file handling controls indicates what? Sir, we should appoint the senior trustworthy person. We should make sure that his duties are properly distributed. Segregation of duties must be there. We are going to maintain the log of these files also, chartered. Okay, whatever the modifications done in the file, we are going to maintain the records of that also, chartered. So obviously, chartered, once again, in a conclusion way, what do you mean by database controlled? Sir, every organization maintains the database. It includes master data, non-master data, accounting data, every type of database is maintained, chartered. To maintain and to make sure that this database always gives accurate, reliable and real-time information, we need to apply the some database controls, which includes access controlled, integrity controls, chartered, concurrency controls, cryptographic controls, audit trail controls and chartered file handling controls. Along with that, you can also say, people, application controls also, because we can maintain this type of controls in our application, which comes inbuilt control type of. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. Here, chartered, we had covered our 3rd chapter RTP questions also. So that's going very well. Yes, chartered. Now we are moving towards the 4th chapter. So my dear chartered accountant, now we are moving towards the chapter number 4, e-commerce, m-commerce and emerging technologies. Chartered, the question which is given in the RTP under chapter number 4, both are the questions, people, which is amendments for the May 22 students. So please concentrate very carefully, chartered. Question number 12, let's see what exactly they are asking us. This is business organization with a vision to anticipate change generally grab the trend before their competitors does, and certainly they opt for online mode for their businesses. Therefore, e-commerce is happening trend in businesses nowadays. Briefly explain the forces underpinning the revolution of e-commerce. Now very important, they are asking about what? Sir, they are asking about the recent trends in the e-commerce operations. Am I very clear to you, chartered? Yes, sir. So let's try to understand, people, one by one. I'll write it down in the same way. It's underpinning, people, the revolutions of e-commerce. Correct? Yes, sir. Number 1, chartered, let me tell to all of you a very interesting trend which is going around the people globe nowadays, and that is what? Sir, tremendous use of mobile phones. Agree? Yes, sir. Now, that will be recognized as a chartered proliferation of mobile device. Now, proliferations of mobile device or proliferation of mobile device, simply as we say, it's nothing but increase of mobile device usage chartered. People, slowly and gradually number of mobile users and people, the amount of internet consumed through that mobile device has increased concurrently. Continuously it is increasing day by day chartered. And thereby companies had clearly understood that boss, old trends will not be no more people working that having the websites, but instead of that now they decided to make their presence available through what? Sir, apps. As well as chartered, as the cost of internet has gone down now, people are now only not only do they want to read the content chartered, but instead of that, in order to give them the information about the product, the recent trend which is moving currently, it's the making a small videos, informative videos about that product. So if you visit to chartered any of the people e-commerce sites like Amazon or the Flipkart or others, you can find it out along with the product. They had given the written description, but if you don't have a time, just watch the video of hardly 1 minute or 2 minutes and we will give the complete details about a product to you. Chartered, for our surprise, more than 55% of internet consumption is done through mobile phones, and thereby making the presence in everyone's life. It is very important not to make ourselves available only on website, but to make sure that we should have our own mobile apps also. But sir, suppose if the customer download the applications and then he does not look towards our application, then we can send the notification on a regular interval, people, and that notification will be just like a reminder for him or her. Understood? Yes, sir. So first one, it's what, sir? It's a proliferations of mobile devices. Second one, chartered, it is a convergence of mobile telecom networks. Nowadays the people internet speed has increased. We are already testing the 5G, soon it will be launched. So write it down, people, the same thing. Convergence of mobile telecommunication. People, with the help of this mobile technology, first of all, it enables you to do the work very quickly, especially those work which is very time sensitive. Agree? Yes, sir. Say for around 7 o'clock, people, family decided to go for a movie. Agree? Yes, sir. Now you want to book a tickets? Nothing to worry about it. Start the application and book right now, people. Okay, you do not require to visit to box office and get the tickets done. You can do it, people, in a fraction of a second by making some few clicks. That's it. So that is what, sir, today mobile device becomes the integral part of the technology that we use on a daily basis, and thereby, sir, nowadays businessmen are also making sure that they are selling their products through mobile applications, through the mobile network connectivity they are connecting to us. Agree? Yes, sir. Number 3, chartered, a very important one. It's a people's social network. You know very well, chartered, that generally today's young generation is quite busy on what? So social media. Maybe chartered Twitter, Instagram, YouTube or LinkedIn, people. Nowadays they are giving directly link over there. So on the one side you are people easily enjoying your social media accounts also. At the same time they are giving the product and services offers in between to it, so that you can make the purchases without affecting your people social media accessibilities. You can continue to access your social media, at the same time you can place the orders also, people. And that is one more thing, people, by which the businessman would be able to cover the wide area of business as well as to increase the profitability. Are you getting my point of view? Yes, sir. So number 1, number 2 and number 3 we had covered. Number 4, chartered, which is the recent trend, but again people it is going very interestingly, and that is AI. That refers to artificial intelligence. Nowadays people, if you visit to website now, you will find it out that they are using tremendous amount of artificial intelligence over there in order to provide the consumer with the high quality services, increasing people their satisfaction level. Example like people, chatbots are there. With the help of chatbot, people, that is a chatting robot, understood, called as chatbot. With the chatting robot, people, we will be 100% able to get what? All the assistance whatever we need. Well-designed chatbots will be people help you to identify your accounts, helping you to people identify your requirements very clearly and gives you proper valuable suggestions for your requirements. So artificial intelligence is tremendously used. So that's it people. Number fifth one, we can also say that people, social media, okay, yes, and the people, e-commerce, both are people growing. But in order to support the e-commerce business in India, people, there are the many law has been changed. Government is making people more proper, perfect law, which gives a proper boost to e-commerce business people, and that's called as people what, sir, support of IT governing laws. Agree? Yes, sir. We are having the IT Act people amendment to IT Act 2000 amendment to 2008 also covered people. Yes, sir. And last but not the least, chartered, it's a predictive analysis. Now, what do you mean by chartered predictive analysis? Try to understand. All the companies people, those who are providing the services to you, either people through website or either through people mobile app. But in order to capture the good market share na people, they are making one thing very clear. They are constantly and continuously analyzing the consumer behavior. Their taste, habit, preferences, choice, likes, dislikes, amount of time people which you spend on that web page will also be taken into consideration. The content which you think again and again or you are searching for those again and again would also be people analyzed. And accordingly people, personalized offers will be made to you based on your previous purchase and everything, and people offer will be given to you. So that will help you in very easy way to identify the correct product also, to do the people repetitive purchase from the same website also, and the website owner could also make a huge profit out of it, chartered. So this all are nothing but these are the underpinning, chartered, the revolutionary side of our e-commerce. First one, it is a proliferation of mobile devices, convergence of people, mobile telecommunications, network availabilities, social network, artificial intelligence, chartered, supported with the technology of technology supported with the IT Act, governing IT Acts also, chartered, and the predictive analysis are the major areas which allows every business organization to think once again and to get easily shifted from traditional to e-market. Understood, chartered? Yes, sir. Next very interesting concept people, and I'm sure you are going to love this concept, okay? Yes, sir. Miss Swati has been directed by her reporting officer, okay? Yes, sir, to prepare the short report on blockchain technology and the several risks associated with it. So you have to prepare what? Sir, what is blockchain also? And you need to give people the associated risk also. Okay. Further people, elaborate in brief the factors that would form the part of her report. So first of all, Swati is going to explain about what? Sir, blockchain technology. Also people, they are going to discuss about what? Sir, all the negative sides or the risk indulged into that blockchain technologies. Correct, chartered? Yes, sir. Let's have a look for it. Now, chartered, many of you might be listening for the very first time, chartered, that sir, what do you mean by blockchain concept? Could you please tell us? Yes, chartered. Let me tell you people, it is purely the technology which is based on distributed chartered ledger technology. It is what? DLT, distributed ledger technology. Let me people take a 2 to 3 minutes time to explain you what is exactly the blockchain is all about. Let's take a very simple example, okay? Suppose you and your friends, okay, all together they were the 10 friends, okay, all people's inclusive, 10 members are there right now, okay, and you all 10 players has decided to play cricket. But the major problem is only one who is going to maintain the scoreboard. Agree? Yes, sir. So you know one person people who was roaming here and there, okay, you asked him, please come here, we are playing cricket, are you going to maintain records with you? He said, yes bro, why not, you need to give me one chocolate for this. We said, okay, not to worry about it, I'll give the chocolate, okay. Yes, and now that person is going to maintain what? Sir, entire scoreboard, okay. Yes, all 10 players are people enjoying cricket and everything, agree, but that single person is going to maintain what? Sir, record. Now people, suppose if I offer something to him, okay, extra, bribe kind of, okay, yes, and I'll say that whenever the my player gets out, now don't say out, just maintain silence. It's like, okay, not to worry about it, I'll in support of you. Further charted, the interesting fact comes. Suppose when the match was going, it was extraordinary going well, people. 7 players had already played, because we are not making the teams and all, okay? Please, it's just like a people playing the cricket in the building compound kind of, okay? Yes. And people, 3 players will still remain. And you know that small kid who was maintaining the record for us people, okay? His mom appeared, people, and immediately took him. People, that person has left the ground, but not only that person has left the ground, along with that entire scoreboard has been, people, gone along with him. Yes, yeah, no? Yes, sir. But chartered, what we had learned from this? Sir, we had learned from this a very important thing, that if the record is maintained by only one person, or if there is a only centralized database management system is there, and if database is lost, then definitely, sir, we won't be able to achieve our targets, we won't be able to achieve our goals. Agree? 110%, sir, I do agree with you. Second most important problem, people, it's what? Sir, here we were completely dependent upon the one person. Second thing, sir, one person can make the changes. As I said, people, I can offer him bribe, okay? Yes, so manipulation is also possible. So we try to figure it out, the solution for this cricket match here. We 10 players would like to play, but we want to make sure that our score record should be accurate, number 1. Yes, sir. We want chartered no centralized systems of maintaining the scoreboards. They said okay. So people, we come up with a very interesting and innovative method. It's like now, suppose if the bowler is people doing bowling now, the first ball, and it's a 4 run. So everybody is going to shout, 1 ball 4 run, 1 ball 4 run, and everybody is making the right database available with them. Yes, 1 ball 4 run. Now everybody is maintaining that database. Yes. Okay. Cheating is possible. Answer is, sir, not possible. Okay. Manipulation of record is possible. No, not possible. And chartered, this is how the blockchain works. In blockchain technology, chartered, try to understand, everybody owns the record. I hope it's clear to you. Yes, sir. This blockchain technology, people, is nothing but it's a so innovative technology, people, that enables you to maintain the database with the highest integrity. Highest integrity. I hope it's clear to you. Yes, sir. Very soon, people, Government of India is going to launch currency also. Okay. Obviously, RBI is going to launch, but government has made the announcement that RBI is going to launch the digital currency purely backed by people, blockchain technology. Understood? Yes, sir. So, chartered, what do you mean by the blockchain? Sir, blockchain is nothing but it is purely decentralized ledger technology, in which, chartered, we are having peer-to-peer sharing of database, where everybody maintains the database but nobody owns the entire database. Understood? Sir, could you please explain with one example? Okay, chartered. Let's try to understand. Suppose we are having here Reserve Bank of India. Okay. Yes, sir. I'll take the people in a very small example to explain you this content. So please concentrate very carefully. Okay. Yes, sir. Suppose people, we are having Reserve Bank of India. Yes, sir. And Reserve Bank of India has created, people, 1 lakh rupees in the economy. Okay. Yes, sir. So it's a Reserve Bank of India. Say for example, the block creator name, it's there, RBI. Okay. RBI created on the batch number 001. Okay, sir. How much created? Sir, 1 lakh rupees created. Okay. That's it. This is the first block, chartered. When the first block is created, it contains 2 details, originator and amount. Agree? Yes, sir. Now people, suppose if the RBI has given this money to 2 government employees. Okay. Yes, sir. When people's salary will be paid to 2 government employees, 2 blocks will be created. Okay. Yes. Number 1, chartered, obviously the receiver. So say for example, the receiver is government employee number 1. So I'll write it down G1. Agree? Yes, sir. How much he got? Say for example, 50,000 rupees. Okay. From whom? Sir, obviously from RBI 001. So now RBI 001 block is divided into 2 parts. One is of 50,000 rupees, which is transferred to government employee G1. Correct? Yes, sir. And second, sir, obviously to G2. How much? Sir, 50,000 transferred here also. From where? Sir, from RBI 001. So people, this RBI 001 block, it's now full, finished. Entire block it's over now. 001 is covered because this block was created with a 1 lakh rupees currency, bifurcated into two parts of 50,000 and 50,000. Now further blocks, whatever this person is going to make the expenses now, the blocks will be created, people. But that blocks will contain what? Sir, the details of a new person. Yes sir, I'll write it down, people. The details of a new person. Second, sir, actual currency transaction. Okay, yes sir. And third one, chartered, to whom we had given this block. Agree? Or from where this block is coming. So I'll write it down in a very simple way. First one, we are having chartered receiver. Just a second please. Receiver. Second is actual block or actual amount, I would like to say. Third one, sender. Every time chartered, these three details will be there in the blocks. So no one, people, is allowed to change in this block anything, chartered. Point number one. If any changes is done into these blocks, automatically it will create the completely new block, people. Understood? Yes sir. Chartered, today also if you want to identify, okay, that who is having the highest Bitcoin, you will be able to find it out, but not the name of that person, but obviously his account number, which is purely created through blockchain technology. So in the block, people, it will be very clear that Mr. A transferred, say for example, A transferred to B, okay, 30,000 rupees. Agree? Now the whole world know that from this ID, okay, to this ID, 30,000 is transferred. But nobody remembers that this ID belongs to Mr. A. So it helps you to maintain privacy. Point number one. Yes sir. No centralized authority. Yes sir. Number three, chartered, suppose if you forgot your password or people, your account, people, hacked, there is a no chances to recover it. Understood? Because we don't have any centralized authority only, chartered. This is the reason we always say that the investment in cryptocurrency is risky. Why, people? Because it is backed by blockchain technology, and blockchain technology is having only one major issue, people, that many times these blockchain technologies are not supported with the central administrative support, chartered. Am I very clear to you? 110%, sir. Damn sure and completely agree with you. So I hope, chartered, this blockchain concept is completely clear to you, how it works. Yes sir. Okay, so moving further, chartered, to the very important one, and that is what, sir, risk associated with blockchain technology. Should we? Yes sir, please. Okay. Risk associated with the blockchain technology is, chartered. The first and foremost risk that we really needs to bear, people, that is what? Completely not availability of understanding our risk appetite level, chartered. Understood? Yes sir. Let's see, people. Okay. Yes. Different level of risk appetite, or, chartered, we always call it as risk tolerance. Correct, chartered? Yes sir, it's risk tolerance. So, chartered, every organizations are having what? Sir, different types of risk appetite and risk tolerance level. Agree? Yes sir. But, chartered, many times this blockchain technologies now, their controls are very strict. Now every organization do not require that types of controls, chartered. Agree? Yes sir. Many times the situation may also appears, people, that in case of this risk appetite level, who is going to determine this risk appetite? And blockchain technology first of all enables you to enjoy the risk-free environment, but not in all the cases. Please do remember this thing. Yes sir. Number two, chartered, heavy dependence on what? Sir, technology. If the technology mechanism is, people, tempered or people change, then tremendous dangerous things could be happening. So second, it's what? Sir, dependence on technology. Understood? Yes, sir. If this charter, try to understand, okay? In cryptocurrency market also we are saying the same thing, that many cryptos are not at all a people trustworthy. Why? Because we don't know people the underlying technology behind it. We don't know people that whether this blockchain could be hacked or not. And suppose if this blockchain could be hacked, chartered, then there could be a tremendous risk even exist in this platform also, chartered. Agree? So first of all, chartered, there is a different level of risk appetite and risk tolerance level of organization based on which we decide the controls. So obviously that is making a too much risky environment for the people, this blockchain technology to be used. Second, we becomes heavy dependence on what? Sir, technology. If this technology is, chartered, tampered with or changed with or manipulated people or hacked by the hackers, then definitely people, risk of cyber attack could not be ignored. Number 3, chartered, very important, it's what? Absence of centralized authority, chartered. I would like to say people, it's a major risk, and that's what? Sir, absence of centralized authority. Because, chartered, in the absence of centralized authority, now first thing, determining the controls is the problem, and second, updation of the system would be again a problem. Am I very clear to you? Yes, sir. How to accept the updates, whether updates are there or not, whether to update or not to update, chartered, this all becomes question mark under what? Sir, blockchain technology, because there is a completely absence of what? Centralized authority system. In this blockchain, chartered, as I said now, nobody owns the record but everybody has the record. Are you cleared with the same thing? Yes, sir. And fourth, chartered, as nobody owns the record but everybody access the record, chartered, it creates tremendous, humongous amount of data, and, chartered, processing that data is the big challenge. We require, chartered, tremendous amount of processing capabilities, chartered, to run the blockchain technology in the most effective and efficient manner. Try to understand, maximum, chartered, Bitcoin mines, okay, are there in the cold countries. Why? Because, chartered, computers, processors are tremendously used, people, for this blockchain technology. And thereby the fourth major problem, people, it's what? Sir, large amount of, or you can say humongous amount of data and processing. Agree, chartered? Yes, sir. Processing that much data, chartered, updating that much data and maintaining that much data, it's a major risk, people. Not every organizations can afford it, people. So 4 major risk, people, which is associated with the blockchain technology. First of all, different level of risk appetite and risk tolerance level of the organization, in which we are completely unable to determine the set of controls to be implemented. Second, the technology could be easily tampered, people, hacked by the hackers and others, so there is a technological risk which we cannot avoid it, chartered. Absence of central authorities make it very difficult, chartered, to understand the controls as well as to update the controls, chartered, or update the technology whenever needed in the future. And last but not the least, chartered, large amount of data, humongous amount of data, and the processing capability, storing capability of this database is the major risk under the blockchain technology. Am I very clear to you, chartered? Yes, sir. Okay, so, chartered, here we had covered the chapter number 4 also. Okay, yes, sir. Can we proceed to the chapter number 5 now? Sure, sir. Okay, see this, chartered. Chapter number 5, core banking system. Okay, yes, sir. In core banking system, information security has become critical to mitigate the risk associated with the information technology. Elaborate the sub processes that comprise information security in this case. Now, chartered, they are asking about the very simple thing, that is about IS system, information security, okay, in the CBS environment. What are the risks associated with the same, people? We need to discuss it. So let's try to, people, understand the sub processes of information security. Okay, yes. Sub processes of IS in CBS. Agree? Yes, sir. Now charted, you do remember the one thing, people, okay, that in this question they had clearly earlier mentioned that RBI has issued the guidelines, okay, called as ISO 27001 2013 chartered. We need to comply with that guidelines very well chartered. If the banks are failed to comply with that kind of people standards which is given by ISO 27001 2013, then obviously we are putting our banking entire technology environment and database environment at the highest risk. So what are the sub processes of information systems chartered that we need to implement in order to minimize the impact of information security system related risk? The first and foremost, we should have proper chartered authentication authorization policy. So first one chartered, I am going to write it down. First sub process is nothing but the information security policies, procedure and chartered. It's time for practices. Understood? Yes, sir. Chartered, try to understand. You need to remember this answer now. Then just for the 5 minutes, think that you are a chartered accountant. Also, you are a IS auditor. And Axis Bank has called you people to understand the entire their IT environment and to give them the valuable suggestions to make their information system more strong. So what would be your first step? Sir, obviously I'll try to identify whether the information security system policy, procedure and practices exist in this organization or not. Are you getting my point of view? Yes, sir. So my first and foremost thing would be what? Sir, whether the bank has drafted the proper policy and procedure to use of this IT resources, how the users are created, how they are granted with the access chartered. All things I need to identify. How we are chartered processing the customer's request, where we are storing properly customers data, employees data, KYC related data perfectly or not, that has to be identified with the help of what? Sir, information security policy, procedure and practices. Second very important chartered, user security administration. Now what is the most important thing chartered? Sir, it is very important, user security administration. How the users are created people and how they are granted with the access chartered, till what extent they are allowed to access the data, okay, how the users are created and what extent they can access the data has to be decided very carefully basis the organizational matrix chartered. Like, how would be the answer of chartered authentication? Until what extent they are allowed to use the data chartered would be authorization. Understood? So PIN password will be created people to make their identification verification done with the system, and chartered role based access control must be implemented to identify the users accessibility level also. So first one, sir, information security policy, procedure and practices. Number 2 chartered, sir, user security administration. Now the very interesting one chartered, user is going to enter into my premises, yes or no? Yes, sir. What is going to use? Sir, is going to use purely application. So third very important activity I need to do is what? Sir, application security. We need to ensure what? Sir, application security. Now chartered, you know very well in chapter number 1, we had understood whenever we are using the business process automation, it means an application people on the other way, 3 major risk arises. What are those? Sir, configuration related risk. Yes, sir. Master related. Yes, sir. And third one, sir, transaction related risk is there. Agree? 110%. So I need to apply the controls at the application level chartered, that obviously who can make the changes, who can enter the data, who can authorize the data, who can approve the data, who can enter the transaction into the application. Understood? Yes, sir. Once the people application is processing the data, obviously we are going to get what? Sir, output, and output will be stored in the database. So we want what? Sir, database security. Now database security concept chartered today only we had referred in chapter number 3. Yes or no? Yes, sir. Access limit has to be decided very carefully. We are going to make the concurrency people system where we are going to verify all the data. We are also going to use what? Sir, encryption system to protect our data from the unauthorized access. Understood? Yes, sir. As well as started level of access has to be decided what? Sir, very carefully. Don't allow the access to the system to everyone, chartered. Number 5, people, once the database is created, that is people, obviously, we need to remember the operating system in which the application and database was created. So operating system security would be what? Sir, once again, a very important aspect. Agree, chartered? Yes, sir. In case of operating system access control, chartered, you had already referred this concept in chapter number 3. Yes, under the chartered logical access control measures. Yes, sir. Terminal logon procedure, access control list we have to prepare. Okay, there should be a terminal timeout. If the user is inactive for extended time, people must be log out from the system for the security reason, and that's operating system controls, or operating system security has to be set. Once the operating system is done, chartered, the very important one, this operating system is connected with the some another system and they are sharing the data. So while sharing this data, chartered, we need to ensure that the data is protected from unauthorized people data accessibility, and thereby we need to ensure what? Sir, network security. We need to see that, chartered, there is a no data privacy violation, people, when the data is in transit. In order to make sure that people, our network security system works well, we should use proper firewall also, chartered. We should make sure that our all database, when they are in transit, it is always encrypted with the proper encryption software, chartered. So if any Tom, Dick, Harry or any hacker may get the access to the database, will not be able to use that database because it is in the encrypted form. And finally, chartered, wherever we are, okay, we need to maintain what? Sir, physical security also. In our computer room, in our data processing room, sir, do not allow any Tom, Dick, Harry to enter into, sir, and to create the damage to your system. Agree, chartered? So in simple words, chartered, information security sub-processes includes what? Sir, information security policy, procedure and practices. Second, users will be entering into my premises, so I will give them the authentication requirement, that is user ID and password. I'll determine their level of accessibility based on what? Sir, metrics. Yes. Sir, application security, that all the applications must be protected. Application will create the database, so I'll protect the database. Application and database purely stays under the what? Sir, under the roof of operating system. So I will gonna protect the operating system also. And my operating system may get connected with the another operating system, because we know branch and head office or branch and central database server shares the data on real-time basis. So in order to maintain our database privacy properly, chartered, we are going to apply what? Sir, network security also. And wherever people physically this database is stored, in that room, physical safety and security must be there. Door locks must be designed properly. Proper ventilation facilities needed, chartered. Along with that, we should make sure that handheld fire extinguishers, smoke detectors, everything gets people kept in such a best manner that the losses or chances of loss, okay, particular risk level could be minimized. Am I very clear to all my dear chartered accountants? Yes, sir. Moving towards the chartered now, last question. Let's see. Yes, chartered, please concentrate. BNC Financial is a very renowned mortgage broker company that is engaged in providing mortgage loans to the potential businessmen for expansion and establishing their businesses. Write down the various risks and associated controls around the mortgage process. Now, chartered, we know very clearly mortgage process is the very simple process, people, in which the bank is ready to lend the funds to us, but only with a one important condition: we need to keep some security with the bank. Agree? Generally, we know, people, that's a very clear-cut fact that mortgage loan is always given for immovable properties, correct? Yes, sir. But whenever the people this mortgage loans are given now, various types of risk business organization has to follow. So we are trying to people figure it out what? Sir, will try to figure it out the risk as well as the associated controls by which, sir, we would be able to minimize the impact of risk. Agree? Yes, sir. So we'll try to chartered find it out the risk and controls. Okay? Yes, sir. So first is risk, chartered, and to minimize the risk we need to apply what? Sir, controls. The first one, chartered, is what? Sir, incorrect customer and loan details are captured. Now chartered, there is a major problem. It's what? Sir, database is of someone else and we took to the someone else. Okay. Yes. So chartered, generally the customer's name is Jigar Joshi and they took the loan details and documentation of Jigar Doshi. Understood? It's a difference of JOSHI and DOSHI. But chartered, it will affect what? Sir, overall downstream process, the entire process goes completely wrong. And this thing happens chartered, and thereby to control this now, there is a very important thing it's needed, and that's what? Sir, secondary review. Let the two persons should determine the overall chartered process and procedure so that the risk could be minimized to a great extent. Agree? Yes, sir. Number 2 chartered, incorrect loan amount disbursed. What I said chartered, please tell me. Sir, incorrect loan amount disbursed. Given they had asked the loan for people hardly 20 lakhs. How much chartered? Sir, they had asked the loan of 20 lakhs, correct? Yeah. And by mistakenly chartered, we had given the loan of 2 crore rupees to them. Sir, that will affect the overall downstream process once again. To minimize this, sir, obviously once again the same thing, sir. Secondary review must be performed. The data must be properly checked by at least 2 authorities to see that whether the loan amount is within the lending guidelines or not, or within the required limit or not. Agree? Yes, sir. Number 3 chartered, the major risk, as you had already studied chartered, that interest amount is inaccurately calculated. Now chartered, when the interest amount will be inaccurately calculated? Sir, when it is calculated manually. So what we are supposed to write in controls? Sir, let the interest should be auto calculated. Understood chartered? Yes, sir. And the fourth major risk, people, which we generally faces people under this mortgage loan, it's what? Sir, unauthorized changes into master data. Okay, so chartered, in order to protect unauthorized changes into the master data, sir, segregation of duties must be implemented. Maker of the record and checker of the record should be the two different person. The person who initiate the transaction cannot approve its own transaction, and the person who is approving the transactions cannot people modify its own transactions. Understood? If this types of chartered risk and controls are properly implemented in the mortgage loan department, then chances of risk could be automatically minimized. Chartered. Here people, your Professor Jigar Joshi announces completion of our RTP of EIS. I would request to all my dear chartered accountant, please make sure that before you entered into examination hall, do the writing practice of this RTP chartered. Writing practice. Okay. Not only just to read, not only just to people listen and to understand, but make sure that the theory must be written. Agree? Yes, chartered. You have to do the writing practice. So with this great thought, people, your professor takes a permission from you, wishing you all the very best for your upcoming exams, chartered. Thank you.